Most men think compliments are the key to winning a woman's heart. But what if I told you that the wrong compliment does more harm than good? That what you say, and more importantly how you say it, can mean the difference between being remembered or instantly forgotten. Let me ask you this. Have you ever complimented a woman only to get a polite thank you, followed by silence? That's not just rejection, that's emotional indifference. And emotional indifference is the graveyard where attraction goes to die. You see, most men don't know how to compliment a woman in a way that triggers deep, lasting attraction. They either play it too safe with generic lines like, "You're beautiful," "I love your eyes," or they go overboard with praise that feels desperate and fake. The result? She hears it, smiles politely, and forgets you by the next morning. Why? Because she's heard it 1,000 times before. And when you sound like every other guy, you become just another guy. Compliments only work if they create a spark, an emotional shift. Not just admiration, but curiosity. Not just praise, but psychological impact. And that's where the concept of forbidden compliments comes in. These aren't the safe, sugar-coated phrases that make her feel flattered. They're the words that make her feel seen, words that cut past her beauty and dive deep into her mind. Compliments that don't just make her smile, they make her think about you long after the conversation ends. Today, I'm going to reveal 3 forbidden compliments that are designed to awaken something inside her. If used correctly, they'll make her feel a powerful emotional response she can't explain. And that's the kind of attraction that lasts. Compliment 1. There's something about you I can't quite figure out. This isn't just a line. It's psychological warfare in the game of attraction. Why? Because it taps into one of the deepest psychological needs of any woman, the desire to be understood. Most men say things that are easy to process. You're gorgeous. You're fun. You have a great smile. Nice, maybe. Memorable. Not even close. But when you say, "There's something about you I can't quite figure out," you're doing something entirely different. You're creating mystery. You're making her wonder, wait, what does he mean by that? What is it about me that he's seeing? Why can't he figure me out? And that's the magic. You're not telling her she's special. You're inviting her to prove it to herself. Because the truth is, women don't crave compliments. They crave meaning. They want to feel like they're more than just looks, more than a label. They want to feel different. And when you create that tension, you spark real interest. Here's why this compliment works. 1. It makes her feel unique. She's not just another pretty face. She's a puzzle. And people are addicted to puzzles. 2. It creates tension. You're showing interest but not total submission. She can feel your curiosity without feeling chased. 3. It engages her emotionally. She starts to self-reflect. What is it about me? And the moment she starts thinking about you, you've already won. So you've just told her, "There's something about you I can't quite figure out," and now she's intrigued. But here's the thing, how you say it is just as important as what you say. The way you deliver it matters. If you just blurt it out without energy or emotion, it'll fall flat, like a punchline with no timing. This line only works if it feels natural, genuine, and effortless. The trick? Pause. Act like you're thinking out loud. Make it seem like the thought just slipped out, unfiltered and honest. Imagine this. You're deep in a conversation. She says something clever or surprising. You pause for a second, glance at her with a curious smile and say, "You know, there's something about you I can't quite figure out." Or maybe you're out somewhere and she does something unexpected, something bold, weird, or completely original. Instead of just laughing, you lean in slightly and say, "You're not like most people I meet, and I can't quite figure out why." And then, silence. Let the moment breathe. Watch what happens next. Her body will shift. Maybe she leans in too. Her eyes might narrow, trying to read you. Her brain clicks into curiosity mode. You've just opened a loop she'll want to close. But here's the secret sauce. Don't explain it right away. Don't break the mystery. Let her wonder. Let her try to figure out what you see in her. The more space you leave for mystery, the more she'll fill it with her imagination. And that's powerful. Most compliments close a conversation. You have beautiful eyes. Thanks. End of story. But this line, it opens a loop in her mind, a psychological gap she feels the urge to close. She'll replay that moment. She'll think about what you said when she's alone, and when a woman starts thinking about you, even when you're not around. That's when attraction evolves into obsession. This is the secret to making a woman feel seen, but not entirely understood. Because the second she feels like she's got you, or that you've figured her out, the game is over. Use this line carefully, because once it lands, she'll never see you the same way again. Compliment number 2. I feel like there's a side of you that most people never get to see. This isn't just a compliment, It's a key that unlocks her deeper self. Why? Because it suggests that you see past the surface. You're not just looking at her body, her smile, or her vibe. You're sensing something more, something hidden, something sacred. Most guys try to win her over with shallow praise. You're so hot. You're really funny. I love your energy. And sure, those might get a polite smile. But do they move her emotionally? No. This line though, this one gets under her skin in a good way. It slips past her walls, makes her pause and wonder, wait, what does he see in me that others don't? And that moment, that flicker of self-reflection, is where the magic happens. When a woman starts to feel understood, not just admired, that's when she starts to bond. That's when you go from just another guy to the guy. Because here's the truth. Women spend their whole lives being seen for what's on the outside. Their looks, their style, their reputation. But deep down, they crave something else. To be seen for who they really are, beneath the performance. This compliment hits her in that exact place. It says, 1. You see beyond the mask. You're not impressed by appearances. You're interested in what's underneath. 2. You're not like the rest. You don't judge her by what everyone else sees. You notice the hidden parts. And that's rare. And in a world where most women feel overexposed but emotionally invisible, being seen like that is magnetic. Previously, you planted the idea that there's a hidden side to her, something only you can see. Now the dynamic begins to shift, and it's not subtle. Something powerful happens when a woman feels emotionally seen. You're not just seeing her, you're seeing through her. You're not complimenting the surface. You're pointing out something deeper, and in doing that, you create a reaction most men never will. Here's what happens next. 1. You're no longer like everyone else. You're not seeing the version of her she shows the world. You're seeing the version she keeps hidden, the one that only slips out in rare moments. 2. You make her feel special. When you suggest that she has a side most people never get to see, she starts to feel rare, not common. That's the kind of recognition that goes beyond beauty. 3. Now, she wants to prove you right. She begins revealing more of herself, subtly, slowly, but surely. Not because you asked, but because you noticed. This creates a powerful shift in the dynamic. Suddenly, she's no longer the one evaluating you. She wants to impress you. That's the switch. You go from being the pursuer to being the one she hopes to earn connection from. But here's the key. This only works if it feels real. If you just throw this line out randomly, With no timing or emotion, it will fall flat. It has to match the moment. It has to come when she opens up, when she lets something personal slip through the cracks. That's when it lands deep. For example, she shares something vulnerable about her past, something she normally keeps private. You pause, let the silence sit, then say, "I feel like there's a side of you most people never get to see." You're hanging out. She lets her guard down. She laughs in a way that feels unfiltered, raw. You smirk and say, "I don't think most people get to see this version of you." She does something quirky, bold, or totally unexpected. You catch her in the act, smile and say, "That's interesting. I bet people have no idea this side of you even exists." The power is in the pause. That slight hesitation before you speak, that's what makes it real. That's what makes her feel like you're not just saying something sweet, you're noticing something rare. Why is this more powerful than a regular compliment? Because normal compliments just tell her what she already knows. You're beautiful. You're funny. You're different. Sure. But she's heard that from dozens, maybe hundreds of guys. This compliment, this one makes her question what you're seeing in her, and the moment she starts trying to figure it out, she's already emotionally invested. You've planted a thought in her mind, one that won't leave quietly. She'll want to show you more of who she really is. And that's where obsession begins. Compliment number 3. I can't decide if you're trouble or exactly what I need. Now we're stepping into dangerous territory, but that's the point. This isn't just a compliment. It's a psychological trap, and it flips the script in a big way. Most guys throw out praise that elevates the woman. "You're amazing. I've never met someone like you. You're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen." Sounds nice, but here's the issue. It puts her in control. She becomes the prize. She's the one deciding whether you're good enough, but with this line, you make her question herself. You become the mystery. You're the riddle that needs solving. I can't decide if you're trouble or exactly what I need. Now, she has to figure out where she stands with you. And that shift, that's where the real game begins. We just introduced the dangerous charm of "I can't decide if you're trouble or exactly what I need." Now let's explore why this line is so powerful and how to deliver it so she feels it, not just hears it. This compliment works because it creates what women crave most: intrigue and tension. Let's break it down. 1. It makes her feel dangerous and irresistibly. So, there's a reason why mysterious, unpredictable women capture attention. They tap into a man's primal curiosity. But here's the secret. Women love to feel dangerous too. Not in a chaotic or harmful way, but in the sense that they have a power over your emotions, over your mind. This compliment tells her that she's exciting, possibly even disruptive, that she could change your life, for better or worse. And guess what? That makes her want to prove it. She'll start playing into that identity, teasing more, revealing more, leaning in deeper. 2. It creates a push-pull dynamic by saying, "I can't decide." You're not falling head over heels. You're interested but not sold. You're drawn to her but still guarded. And that tension, it's magnetic. You're not the guy chasing her approval. You're making her wonder where she stands with you. That emotional distance, it builds craving. 3. It sparks curiosity that lives in her mind, rent-free. The moment you say something like, "I don't know if you're trouble or exactly what I need," she can't help but wonder, what does he mean by that? Why can't he decide? Am I dangerous? In a good way? What's he seeing in me? And just like that, you're occupying space in her mind, not because you begged for attention, but because you played with emotional contrast. This kind of line lingers. It loops in her thoughts long after the night ends. How to use this compliment naturally. This line hits best when there's already a playful or flirty vibe. Here are 3 moments where it works perfectly. She teases you, says something bold, clever, or challenging. You smirk, lean in just a little and say, "I can't tell if you're trouble or exactly what I need." She surprises you. Maybe she flirts with the bartender, throws a clever jab, or says something unexpected. You give her a slow, amused look and say, "You feel like you're going to be dangerous for me." She drops an insight, something deep or emotionally sharp that catches you off guard. Instead of just saying, "Wow," you tilt your head, smile curiously and say, "I don't know whether to run from you or spend more time figuring you out." Delivery is everything. Tone matters. Say it slowly, let it hang in the air, add just a hint of mystery, like you're genuinely intrigued. If you rush it, it sounds rehearsed, but if you deliver it like a spontaneous internal realization, it becomes unforgettable. This is how you separate yourself from every other guy. This compliment does more than make her feel good. It makes her feel mysterious and wanted. A typical compliment strokes her ego, but this compliment pulls her into a psychological game. It flips the frame of the conversation. Suddenly she's not in control. She's questioning, why does he think I'm trouble? Why can't he decide if I'm good for him? What does he see that I don't see? And the more she thinks about that, the more she starts chasing your approval. This is how you flip the script. This is how you make her think about you long after the conversation ends. So now you understand how these forbidden compliments flip the script. They don't just flatter, they challenge, intrigue, and pull her in emotionally. Let's wrap it all together. This is how you trigger curiosity, excitement, and deep fascination, all at once. Most men never get this far. Why? Because they rely on predictable compliments, the same lines women hear every single day. "You're so pretty." "You have a beautiful smile." "Wow, you're gorgeous." "Nice," maybe. Memorable? Never. If your words don't stand out, you don't stand out. It's that simple. But when you compliment a woman in a way that's unexpected, something raw, mysterious, and emotionally charged, you shift the entire dynamic. You're no longer another guy giving her attention. You become the one who sees her differently. And that's when the game changes. Why these 3 forbidden compliments work so well. Let's recap. 1. They make her feel seen. Not for her appearance, but for the parts of herself she rarely reveals. 2. They create mystery. She wants to know more about what you see in her. 3. They spark curiosity. She starts thinking about you, even when you're not around. Most importantly, they make her feel wanted, but not in a desperate, needy way, in a way that says, "There's something about you that pulls me in, and I can't quite explain it." That emotional tension is magnetic. She doesn't feel evaluated like an object. She feels like an enigma you're drawn to unravel. And that's why they're so powerful. These compliments aren't about her looks. They don't just scratch the surface. They dive beneath it. They tap into the part of every woman that longs to be noticed, not just for beauty, but for depth, for her story, her mystery, her contradictions. When you use them correctly, here's what happens. You stop chasing. She starts investing. The dynamic reverses. Because now she's the one thinking, why does he see me this way? What does he mean by that? Why can't I stop thinking about what he said? And that's the seed of obsession. Final thought. Use these compliments with purpose. Don't overuse them. Don't drop them without context. These lines are weapons, but only when timed with genuine curiosity and emotional awareness. Use them when the moment feels real. Use them when she least expects it. And most of all, mean what you say. Because when she feels that it's authentic, when she sees that you're not just another guy looking for attention, she'll want to be the one who captures yours. Thanks for watching. If this video helped you rethink how to connect with women on a deeper level, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We've got more coming up on emotional intelligence, stoic attraction, and power dynamics in relationships. See you in the next one.